The theme this year is extraordinary, a word defined in many ways, but as dictionary defined as being beyond what is ordinary or usual, exceptional, remarkable. As humans, we sometimes see someone being extraordinary, like Superman, or Spider-Man. In God's eyes, he doesn't see someone extraordinary as like being really strong or wearing tights, but as someone who has faith beyond all measure, even beyond the harsh trials or situations anyone can imagine. In Matthew 5:10-12 and 5:14-16 it says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil things against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." And moving down to 14 it says, "You are the light of the world. A city on the hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it in a bowl. Instead they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men. They may see your good deeds and glorify your Father who is in heaven." Sometimes the best time is the worst time, right? When everything in life is going good and everything seems right, it's easy to worship God and let your light shine. But it's extremely hard when your world seems to be falling apart and everything seems to be going wrong. Maybe you're being even persecuted. Sometimes the best time to be extraordinary is when there's family illnesses. Recently in my family, it seems like life is out of control. My grandmom has cancer, my grandpa has cancer, my uncle is in the hospital, he keeps having major heart problems, and there's so many more I haven't even named. Like, it's crazy how much. But in the sorrow, I found doors I never would have been able to find if it wasn't for these situations. Even when life seems to be throwing you a curveball, and you don't know what to do, and you don't think you can do anything, you can be an extraordinary Christian. When there are family issues, a lot of times people are more open and receptive to listening about God or religion. So I've been able to talk to my family and say, hey, I believe that God will heal. God has the power as long as we have faith in Him. The ordinary thing to do would say, woe is me. Feel bad for yourself. Feel like everything's going bad. No! The extraordinary thing to do is to reach out to your family and their time needs, because they are open and receptive and you want them to get to God. Sometimes the best time to be extraordinary is when you're faced with school opposition. In verse 11 it says, "Blessed are you when people insult you." And we all know that in school, if you let your light shine, you're definitely going to be persecuted. They're going to insult you, right? Statistics show that you spend 1,287 hours a year, which is 198 days a year in school. Since you spend so much time in school, why don't you let your light shine to them? We all know that someone's going to pick on you and everything and all that. But why don't you reach out to them? When they're picking on you, when they're saying, look at this crazy Christian kid, why don't you pray for them? Just stop right then and pray and say, I pray for them that their heart will be more open and receptive to what God has for them. He can change anyone's heart. The ordinary thing to do is say, I'm not going to do that because they're going to pick on me. I want to be with the cool kids, especially who wear Superman capes. But just remember that you hold the key to eternal glory with God. Finally, sometimes the best time to be extraordinary is when you have personal struggles. This week, as you saw me, came up in a wheelchair. The doctor said I have to stay in that. It's crazy. But I had to get my appendix removed, right? And I was like, what the heck? Right? I asked God when I was sitting in the hospital, why would you do this to me? I have fine arts. I have to do my human video. I have to do all these things. I even had to pull out the human video. And luckily, I'm maybe get back in because of this appendix thing. But when I was sitting in the hospital, I asked God, why? Why? There's this kid next to me. He was in so much pain, he couldn't even move. Like, the kid was always in pain. He always crying, which kind of kept me up in the middle of the night. But that's all right. But God said, look, you can reach out to him. I got the nurses for him. I changed the TV for him, anything. So, when I was about to get out, of the hospital, I was able to pray for the kid, share my faith with him, which is awesome. Now, looking back on what I said, are you an extraordinary Christian? Are you all extraordinary? The ordinary, there's nothing extraordinary about serving God when everything's good and there's no problems at all. But you know what? It's extraordinary when you have every problem that's coming against you and you still go out and let your light shine before men.